Welcome back, wrestling fans, to a night that will echo through WWE history with raw, unfiltered emotion. Tonight, we dive into a saga of vengeance and redemption. Roman Reigns' explosive return to exact revenge on the Vision and to stand by the Usos in a brutal tornado tag match. Imagine the arena pulsing with anticipation, the air heavy with betrayal, as the tribal chief steps back into the ring, his eyes burning with a fire forged by loss and loyalty. This isn't just a match, it's a family fighting to reclaim their honor, and you won't look away. The story begins in shadows. Roman Reigns, the once untouchable head of the bloodline, had vanished from WWE after a health scare that shook the wrestling world. Whispers of his leukemia resurfacing spread like wildfire, each rumor cutting deeper than the last. Backstage, the locker room was a cauldron of gossip. Some superstars sent well wishes, others muttered that Roman was done, his legacy tarnished by absence. But for the Usos, his cousins, the pain was personal. Jay and Jimmy, fractured by their own betrayals within the bloodline, needed their tribal chief, not just for victory, but to heal a family on the brink of collapse. The Vision, a cunning and ruthless faction led by a charismatic mastermind, had seized Roman's absence to dismantle his empire. They targeted the Usos, mocking their loyalty to a fallen king, and ambushing them in brutal attacks. The Vision's leader, a figure shrouded in scandal, reveled in the chaos, claiming the bloodline's reign was over. Backstage, the tension was suffocating. Crew members whispered about the Vision's underhanded tactics, bribes to officials, whispered threats to rivals. The Usos, battered and betrayed, stood alone, their bonds strained but unbroken, waiting for a miracle. Please like, share, and subscribe for more WWE content. Your support fuels our deep dives into the heart of wrestling's most gripping stories. When Roman's music hit, the arena erupted like a volcano. The crowd, a sea of raised arms and tear-streaked faces, felt the weight of his return. Roman, his face etched with grief, didn't just walk to the ring, he carried the burden of his family's legacy. His eyes locked on the Vision, who stood smugly in the ring, mocking the bloodline's weakness. But it was Jay's reaction that hit hardest, a mix of relief and guilt as he embraced his cousin, the man he'd once turned his back on. Jimmy, quieter, nodded, his silence screaming of a brother desperate to mend what was broken. The tornado tag match was chaos incarnate. No rules, no tags, just four men and the Usos tearing into each other with a ferocity that felt personal. Roman's spears were thunderous, each one a release of months of pent-up rage. The Usos, fueled by their cousin's presence, fought like men possessed, their synchronized attacks a reminder of why they're tag team royalty. The Vision, though, were relentless, their leaders' mind games cutting as deep as their blows. The crowd was on edge, every near fall a gut punch, every counter a testament to the stakes. Backstage, the air was thick with drama. The Vision's rise had stirred resentment among the roster. Some veterans, like Kevin Owens, watched with grudging respect, while others, like Solo Sikoa, seethed at the sidelines, still raw from his own fallout with Roman. The locker room was a fractured family, mirroring the bloodline's own struggles. Whispers of a scandal involving the Vision's leader, rumors of a banned substance cover-up, added fuel to the fire. Wrestlers exchanged glances, unsure who to trust, as the match unfolded on the monitors. Roman's return wasn't just physical, it was a reckoning with his past. His health crisis had forced him to face mortality, to question if he'd ever stand in the ring again. Nights spent in hospital rooms, his children's voices on the phone, haunted him. His wife's pleas to stay home echoed in his mind as he absorbed the Vision's punishment. Yet, standing with Jay and Jimmy, he found purpose. This wasn't about titles, it was about family, about proving the bloodline's heart still beat, even after betrayal tore it apart. The Usos carried their own scars. Jay's decision to walk away from Roman years ago had left a wound that never fully healed. Jimmy, caught between loyalty to his brother and his cousin, had faced sleepless nights, questioning his place in the family. Their fights weren't just in the ring, they were in heated phone calls, tearful arguments, moments of silence that spoke louder than words. The Tornado Tag match was their chance to rebuild, to show the world that blood was thicker than betrayal. The Vision's leader, a master manipulator, knew how to exploit those cracks. In the ring, he taunted Roman about his health, whispering barbs about a sick man playing hero. He mocked the Usos' loyalty, calling them puppets of a fading dynasty. The words stung because they held a kernel of truth. Roman's absence had left the bloodline vulnerable, the Usos' loyalty had wavered under pressure. The crowd felt the weight of every insult, their cheers turning to gasps as the Vision's mind games nearly broke the brothers apart. The match's turning point came when Jay, blood streaming down his face, caught the Vision's leader in a superkick that echoed through the arena. Jimmy followed with a splash, and Roman sealed it with a spear that felt like it carried years of pain. The pinfall wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. The bloodline was battered, bruised, but unbroken. The crowd roared, not just for the win, but for the sight of three men, bound by blood, standing tall against the odds. Backstage, the fallout was immediate. The Vision's leader stormed out, ranting to anyone who'd listen about unfair odds. His faction, shaken but defiant, vowed revenge, their whispers hinting at darker plans. The Usos, meanwhile, shared a quiet moment with Roman in the trainer's room, no words needed, just the weight of their reunion. Other superstars watched from a distance, some inspired, others envious. The locker room was a chessboard, and this match had shifted every piece. The fans, too, were swept up in the emotion. Social media buzzed with clips of Roman's spear, Jay's superkick, Jimmy's splash. Fans who'd followed the Bloodline saga felt like they'd witnessed a family reunion, flaws and all. Posts poured in, some celebrating the victory, others debating if Roman's health would hold up. The love for the Usos was universal, their resilience a beacon for anyone who'd ever fought to keep a family together. Roman's return carried a deeper weight, the specter of loss. He dedicated the match to his late uncle, Afa Anoa, whose death had rocked the Samoan dynasty. In the ring, Roman's eyes glistened as he pointed to the sky, a silent tribute. The Usos, too, felt the absence, their post-match embrace a moment of grief as much as triumph. The crowd, sensing the depth of their pain, chanted, Anoa, a reminder that wrestling is a tapestry of love and loss. The Vision's defeat didn't end their threat. Backstage rumors swirled of their leaders' connections to powerful figures, hinting at a scandal that could shake WWE's foundation. Some said he'd been seen meeting with shady promoters, others whispered about doctored medical records. The truth was murky, but the distrust was real. Wrestlers like Seth Rollins, once a brother to Roman, kept their distance, their own history with betrayal making them wary of the bloodline's resurgence. For the Usos, the victory was bittersweet. Jay's guilt over past betrayals lingered, his eyes avoiding Roman's in quiet moments. Jimmy, ever the peacemaker, tried to bridge the gap, but the cracks in their bond were still there. The match had unified them, but healing would take time. Their backstage laughter, once a staple of WWE tours, was replaced by heavy silences, a family still navigating the wreckage of their choices. Roman, too, was changed. The health crisis that kept him away had forced him to confront his limits. Every spear, every slam, was a defiance of the fear that he might not have much time left. His children's faces, his wife's voice, were his anchor, but also his burden. Standing in the ring, he wasn't just the tribal chief, he was a man fighting for his name, his family, his legacy. The Tornado Tag match was more than a spectacle, it was a mirror to the human condition. The Bloodline's struggle wasn't just about wrestling, it was about the fight to hold on to what matters when the world tries to tear it away. The Vision's cruelty, their taunts, their ambition, reflected the obstacles we all face: doubt, betrayal, the fear of being forgotten. The crowd felt it, their cheers a collective cry for resilience.